Cronk falls on it. That will be it. They've defended their title. They are still the champions and the first in a united competition since 92-93. For Farrell, he's over in his debut grand final. Well, what a story for the kid. 10 minutes in the sin bin for the retiree. Here's Cooper, one to beat. It's gone inside of the Roosters Tedesco. He goes in to score.
Well, Roosters fans, this time last week, we talked about being a great time to be a Rooster. As if rugby league in 2020 hasn't got enough to deal with. The cardboard cutout crowds, the playing surfaces come into question, hot dog men going broke across the nation, and of course, we lose our two dynamic young lock and young hooker in Victor Radley and Sammy Verrills. Well, Coach Robinson was relaxed and smiling in the box, and it was 4-0 after 6 minutes, courtesy of tonight's special guest, the BMOS. Then disaster struck, and Roosters fans commiserated as one, the season-ending injury to our dynamic and much-loved Victor, the Inflictor Radley. Well, it wasn't all doom and gloom, because at 17 minutes, one of the best tries of the season, with a magnificent try for Joey onto Jared, and now we own the term the no-look flick. Well, then disaster struck again when we lost Sammy Verrills to the same injury as Victor, proving it's never a good time to lose a classy hooker. The Dragons saw everything Mary had to offer and took the early lead after half-time as play resumed. It was Dragons 12, Roosters 10. Well, in our team especially, when your back's against the wall, we look to our leaders to get you through, and get us through they did. Some Kiri brilliance took the lead back, some Cordner toughness, playing with his head half ripped off and taped up like a leaking tap. Got us going forward, of course, the ever-reliable co-captain Friendy, proving it was another great night to be a Rooster. Jared and Siwa leading from the front in metres and minutes, showing that's Roosters footy, baby. Roosters 26, Dragons 12. That's our 5th straight victory, Silky, and it's still a great time to be a Rooster. Welcome to Roosters Radio. It's round 8 this week, and how excited are we as Roosters fans?
Yes, that's right, Bush. Hello and welcome to this episode of Roosters Radio, and of course, plenty of talking points out of last Friday's match. But Bush, we've got a big show this week. First time making his debut on Roosters Radio, the one and only, the mercurial BMOS, Brett Morris, fresh off a hat trick of tries there last Friday night. Can't wait to speak to him.
Yeah, Silky, fan favourite, crowd favourite. He's been there last year, won a grand final. He's done everything in the game. He's from Roosters, which we're going to call it royalty, in Slippery Morris, who come out here in 1987 when you were the actual ball boy there, and you had a great time with Slippery. So really interested to chat to BMOS. We've thrown some questions out to the fans. It's been huge, and it's been so engaged. Really looking forward to having BMOS on. But Silky, what a game Friday night. We talk about leadership at our coach, Trent Robinson, at his level. I don't know what he said to him at halftime, but what I do know is they went out and performed. What an amazing victory if you consider the metres that Jared and Siwa played up front, the class of Kiri, everything we said in the intro. Boydie Cordner, his face is hanging off from that awful head clash. I mean, wow.
JWH, 233 metres, 45 tackles, 1 try. Siwa Takiaho, 80 minutes, 213 metres. And the quote out of the press conference when Trent Robinson was asked about the performance, "We've got this." That was the word that came from the field.
Loved it.
The two front rowers spoke to Travis Toomer. Don't take us off. I mean, doesn't that give you confidence as a Roosters fan?
Oh, imagine being the coach in the box. And he said, Robbo said quite calmly, I knew just to leave him alone. I mean, that's the quality of coaching. It's the quality of unity, and it's the quality of alignment. And you saw the result, and it just come through. By the same token, mate, hats off to St George. They've had a bit of a checkered start.
Yeah, they turned up.
I thought they turned up to play footy, and I think, we're in a time in the Roosters footy where it's just a level of class or, sustainability or the grind. I don't know what the term is, but I tell you what, we just grinded that one out.
Talking of big performances, Bush, what about the performance of our guest tonight, Brett Morris? Generally plays the right-hand side of the field in the wing position, wing three-quarter, as they used to say. He heads over to the left-hand side at left-hand centre, playing in his brother Josh's role, and bags a hat-trick.
Yeah, Silky, I mean, is so versatile, and, you can actually just see that, the confidence that he brings to the team and the experience, I guess. I mean, he's done it all, New South Wales level, Kangaroo, St George, he won a grand final there. He's won a grand final here last year. So just brings so much adaptability to our team.
And what about Joey Manu at number 1? That kick return, the flick pass to Jared Waerea-Hargreaves, but I thought his performance was second to none. 200 and something odd metres he ran for. He was outstanding there on Friday night.
Well, Silky, we don't pretend to be experts, and I tell you what I learned from Coach Robinson. I think our fans, if you want to learn about how we play, watch the press conferences, because he talked about Joey Manu's carries back.
Yep.
And he talked about the quality of those carries, and you go, wow, something you never look at as a fan because we don't read the game like the experts. But I tell you what, we love it like they do. And when you consider that, the way he did carry that football back was amazing. And then he also attacked a little bit like Teddy. He's not as dynamic and robust and as probably as aggressive as Teddy in the way that Teddy runs the ball, but he's so skillful. What about the flick pass?
It was unbelievable. Also want to mention the number 6. I like to call him Sir Simon Rattle. You prefer to call him Arturo Toscanini. Most of our Roosters fans would know him as Luke Keary. Look, he's the conductor of the Tide, and the way he just directs the team around the park, once again, a display, that show and go, just straight onto the post last tackle. Wow.
Yeah, amazing. I know we're not going to talk about this to the end of the year, Silky, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us to see it. He has to be an absolute shoe-in for a Blues jersey.
He's got it already.
You'd think so. The way he's playing. Look, his form, his confidence, his leadership, the way he's grown into that 6. I'd love to, and we'll ask him when he's on again this year, just the influence of Cooper Cronk. We've sort of touched on it, but I want to have a bit of a deep interview with Luke Keary because he is the form 6 in the competition, but he's also the form Rooster. And, it's not just, he's playing with such, confidence. It's great for the whole team, the go forward. I can keep talking.
What you need to do, Bush, is YouTube Sir Simon Rattle and just see the way he controls his orchestra. Look, he's currently working with the London Symphony Orchestra, spent a bit of time at the Berlin Philharmonic, but the way that he conducts the woodwind section, the brass, the clarinets, particularly in the woodwind section, and the oboe, they're unbelievable. That's Luke Keary telling our left-hand side where to go.
Yeah, 100%. And he's always done. I mean, look at that try the other night when we were down and we were looking like the Dragons were going to throw something at us.
Yeah.
Joey John said, as the commentator, Channel 9, our cousin station, said this is going to go down to the last minute. Well, not on Luke Keary's watch. He just gets the ball, darts. We all saw it. It was magnificent.
Well, Bush, we could wax lyrical about that performance all night, but alas, we have a special guest. We're going to be talking to Brett Morris after the break. You're on Roosters Radio, and we'll be right back after this.
Well, Roosters fans, as promised, the big names keep on coming, and there's none bigger than our signing from last year, and what a signing he was, Silky. He is a New South Wales Kangaroo, former grand final winner.
Oh, he is a grand final winner.
He's a grand final winner of 2 clubs, and what an absolute dynamic winger, centre, fullback. You could put him at hooker, maybe put him at lock now. Victor's gone, he's ball player. There's nothing he can't do in the game. Would you please welcome to Roosters Radio, on debut for the first time, his beloved players know him as the BMOS. We know him as Brett Morris. Welcome, Brett, and thanks for spending time on Roosters Radio.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, mate, what can we say? I mean, you've come to this club and with great family history, with your dad Slippery playing at the Roosters, and now you've got your brother there. Are we going to create a family dynasty?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I've got a young fella and Jamal's got a young fella, so hopefully down the track somewhere, they can wear the same colours. That'd be pretty cool.
Very nice. And I tell you what, it'd be nice if they could get 3 tries like you did. 3 tries against your old club, BMOS. Is that something that was a little bit special? How was that?
Yeah, it was. Obviously, you got the late call, with Josh being injured. And, I've sort of just bounced around the back line this year. But, yeah, I enjoy it. It's always a challenge when you're playing a new position. So, for me, on the weekend, it was just about trying to go out there and really try and lock it down with defence, and then obviously the attacking side that comes along with it. So it was nice to score 3 tries. I sort of told J-Moz it's not too hard being a left centre these days. So mate, he's primed for a big one this weekend, and hopefully he can get over the stripe for 3.
Well, here's hoping. Look, just on last week's game, obviously the match was soured by the injuries to Victor and young Sammy Verrills. How was the mood in the dressing room after the match?
Yeah, look, obviously most blokes there were, pretty devastated. We just won the game, but, that sort of taken the feeling of the win was taken away by the loss of those guys. You never want to see a teammate get injured, but to have 2 season-ending injuries on the same night, it's just devastating. So there's some guys in there who are really close mates, with Sammy and Rads, and they're pretty rattled after the game. It's something that you hate seeing, and as a team, we've got to overcome that. Injuries are part and parcel of rugby league, but after the game, there was a fair bit of devastation for the lads.
Bimos, you're approaching 260 games yourself. You're at 259. How's your body? Is it going well, and especially as you get older as a player? How are you holding up?
Yeah, look, you get obviously little niggles here and there, and as you get older, you tend to look after your body a lot better than you do when you're younger. But in saying that, you also take a little bit longer to recover. So there's always little niggles sort of popping up, and you just do your best to get on top of them early in the week, and you try not to let it affect you too much. You don't want to waste too much time thinking about it, because you've got a job to go out and do. So look, there's little bits and pieces here that sometimes don't feel as good as they should, but as a footballer, what your job is and what you need to do to get ready to get out there and do it, and that's just what we do week in, week out.
Brett, just on your career, and it's been, you've ticked every box as far as the accolades. A question from our fans, and it comes from Casey. She says, in a career full of highlights, where does last year's grand final sit?
Oh, look, that's right up there. There's no doubt about that. It's the ultimate to win a grand final with the team that you've trained. You slogged out the pre-season with. You play 25 rounds. You're there week in, week out with each other, going, through all the battles and in the trenches. And, when you get to that ultimate game, the grand final, and win it, there's no better feeling. And the first one I won with the Dragons, I was quite young, and I just assumed that, I might be in a few more, that, that happened, quite often. But as you get older and in the back end of your career, you realise how hard they actually are to make and to win them. So, last year was definitely very special.
I mean, I was out there with my family, and I can still remember, I think I saw it on the big screen, you got the opportunity to share it with your own family. That must have been special in itself.
Yeah, it was. My eldest girl, she just absolutely loves the footy. She's been in and around the football shed since she was, probably about 2 years old, walking around handing out water bottles and Gatorades and that sort of thing. So she's grown up, and she just loves the footy now. She, every game she's up late at night watching. She just really enjoys it. So for her to experience that, that's something she'll never forget. I also had my 2 other children there, my youngest girl and my young fella. There's special moments and special memories that you can never take away and you'll never forget.
Does that mean we'll see a few more Morris names running around in Group 7 down there in the South Coast sometime soon?
Not soonish. Maybe in about 10, 15 years when we finish up and head down there. But look, our kids are obviously getting to that point now where they're starting to realise what sport is and enjoy it, and not going to push them into those sports, but if they want to play it, I'll be more than happy to drive them along to them.
Bimos, you played at such an amazing club at the Dragons, with such great history, and same with the Roosters, a foundation club. What were your first impressions when you arrived at the Sydney Roosters?
Yeah, look, obviously as soon as you walk through the doors, you see the history. There's all the names that have played for the club. There's all the the premierships, all the trophies that have been won. So as soon as you walk through the doors, it's there for you to see, and and it's spoken about often. The history and the tradition within the club. It's something that's not forgotten, and the people that have come before us, how hard they've had to work to keep the club going and playing well. So when you walk into an organisation like that, you just want to do your best and you want to succeed as well.
Now, Silky's got a little question, mate. He had a bit of a man crush, someone close to you when he was a kid. Now, Silky, as a young footballer, wasn't too bad, but he wanted to represent the Roosters, and your dad gave him an opportunity to run him out one day at the SCG, but the only difference is he was the ball boy. Ask Silky your question about Slippery.
That's actually true, Brett. I was the ball boy when your old man was there in '87. It was a great year for the Chooks. Unfortunately, we got beat right at the end. But did he give you any advice about joining the club? Obviously, Nick Politis was still around then. Did the great man Slippery Morris share some wisdom with you?
No, not really. He sort of just let us go on our own path with rugby league. I mean, it's funny how things have panned out, but he's never sort of pushed us one way or the other. He's always just been there to support us. And, he just watches on quietly in the background. He's obviously very proud. And I think, obviously, once I came over to the Roosters, he was pretty excited about that. And now Josh has come over, he's even more excited. So, he obviously loves, watching us play. But, to play for the same clubs that he did, I think he gets a real kick out of it.
Yeah, Brad, I think the fans get a kick out of it. We love Slipper, and he went from halfback to wing. I mean, we're old enough to remember when he played, and he was such a dynamic, quick, fast player. It's amazing. What does it mean to you to have your brother Josh come and finish his career at the Roosters with you?
Yeah, look, it's awesome. We've played a lot of footy together, but we've also spent a lot of time apart throughout our careers. So, whenever we're in the same side, you know what you're going to get. We're going to go out there and we're going to compete and we're going to try our hardest. And, obviously being on different sides of the field, here at the Roosters, you want to outdo them. You want the right side to do better than the left side. I mean, it's just a little challenge that we've always sort of had, a friendly rivalry. And, Josh is a very experienced player. He knows his role within the team. He knows exactly how to get it done. He knows how to prepare for big games of rugby league. And, he's an all-round player. He's great in attack, great in defence. And he's definitely a guy who has, helped us these last couple of weeks for sure. We've seen the impact that he can have on games. And, he's over there with that left side with Boydie and Kaz and Toops. And, those guys have probably been the strongest left side in the competition for, a couple of years now. And, he's just slotted in there seamlessly and he's doing really well.
Well, I know I speak for all Roosters fans when we say we're glad we've got you both. Looking back at your career and the teams that you've played for and the coaches that you've played under, some of the sharpest minds in rugby league, Bennett, Des Hasler, Robbo, do they have similar traits or styles, or are they all completely different?
Oh, look, they're all different. They're all different in the way that they, coach the game, in the way that they approach the game. I will say that, all those guys there are, pretty decent man managers as well. They know what type of player that they've got, what their best traits are and, things that they need to work on. So, I mean, to be a great coach, I suppose there's probably things that you need in your coaching book. You got to be able to, have the tactics to win games. You've got to be able to, manage a group of players, that range from a, totally different age group from 18 to, anywhere in their 30s and, and get everyone on the same page week in, week out. So, I mean, those coaches that you named before, they've done that now for quite some time and they've had success at doing it. So, I've been lucky enough to play under some, pretty good coaches.
Yeah, this is an easy one for you, mate, and it's going to go a long way for both of us. Who's your favourite?
Look, not being biased around, but I would have to say Robbo. I've really enjoyed the last, 18 months learning under Robbo. As a footballer, you probably think that you know everything after 14, 15 seasons, but there's still room there to grow and to learn. And the way that Robbo approaches his footy, I've really enjoyed being coached by Trent. So obviously the winning the games of football and that plays a big part as well. But yeah, if I'm being completely honest, it'd have to be Robbo.
And Beamos, just on that, what has Robbo taught you that you've added to your repertoire?
Oh, look, just little things within the game, mentality things, about picking sides apart, the patterns in which they play and seeing them early so that you know what's coming next. Basically, it's almost programming you to be a step ahead of the opposition, which is I've found quite interesting, and it definitely helps when you're out there on the field if you can know the opposition inside out.
Has the same effect on Silky and I, mate. There's a nude statue of Mitch Orbison and Boyd Corder in our studio, only gazumped by the one of Robbo. And, the way you're playing and your brother playing, we might have room for a couple more. So, mate, we're a show of the fans, by the fans and for the fans. Just a question in from Angus, one of our fans. It went global when we said we had you on, mate. Even questions come in from China.
Nice. Are
you still available for New South Wales?
No, I'm well and truly done and dusted in the Origin arena, mate. I enjoyed my time there while I was playing, but for me personally, my full focus goes into club football these days. I know there's a lot of young guys there who are chomping at the bit to play Origin, and I think it'd be selfish as an older guy to try and sneak back in there. As I said, I really enjoyed my time playing Origin, but my time was well and truly over, and I love watching it on TV, but I don't sit there and go, geez, I want to be back playing this again.
Yeah, I think you've just put a smile on the faces of a
I'm smiling as you said. And Beamos, that leads into another fan question, and we had this multiple times, and I think you know what it's going to be. Off the back of what you've just said there, will you and Josh consider playing one more year?
Yeah, look, that's something that we're going through at the moment. At the moment we're winning games of footy, the body's not feeling too bad, and it's something that over the next couple of weeks I'll seriously sit down and have a really hard think about. I've really enjoyed, as I said, the last 18 months of footy here at the Roosters, and for me personally, it's not a decision that I want to rush. I want to take my time and make sure I cover all my bases, and there's a lot that goes into making a decision to play on for another year, especially with my family. I've got a young family, and it's all they've ever seen me do. So they'll be a big part of it. And obviously, if the club want me to stay, then that's another thing as well. So look, I haven't got an answer for you at the moment. Hopefully in a couple of weeks that'll be something that we can talk about.
Yeah, well, whatever decision you make, mate, you'll have the full support of rugby league fans across the board, and particularly Roosters fans. B-Moz, can I ask you, what does life after footy potentially look like for you in a professional scene? I know you're studying and you're doing lots of stuff. Have you got a trade or consideration that you an interest that we might know about?
At the moment, I'm doing a carpentry course at TAFE. I've always enjoyed, woodwork as a young fella coming through school. I always enjoyed that. So it's something that I've just picked up sort of halfway through that. But, I don't intend on being on the tools 5 days a week as soon as I finish footy. I think I've worked too hard to do that. But, my wife, she has quite a good job. She works extremely hard as well. And, I think probably for the first sort of 6 months, I'll just kick back and relax, let the body heal after however long it's been. And, stay-at-home dad sounds pretty good to me. Do the lunches, do the school drop-offs, and go sit in cafes.
Put the feet up for a while.
Listen, mate, I did it for 6 months. It's not all it's cracked up to be, believe me. There's plenty of housework that has to be done.
Oh, mate, I don't mind the housework. It's a job for me that I can just zone out. So yeah, maybe a stay-at-home dad.
All right. Now, listen, this is the last question, mate. We really appreciate your time, and it's actually not a question. It's more of a scenario. So, if I can just paint the picture, it's your final game for the club. It's in a grand final. It could be this year, could be next year. Who knows? There's a minute and a half to go. Teddy makes a break down the sideline. You're backing up. You pick up the ball at about 30, 40 metres out, and the line's open, and screaming up on the inside is your brother Josh. Do you pass him the ball, or do you get the glory yourself?
It depends. If the fullback's coming across to tackle me, I'll probably pass it. But if there's no one in front of me, I'm pinning it and going for it.
Well, mate, on that note, B-Moz, thank you so much for joining us on Roosters Radio. And, I know we speak for all the fans. When the decision time comes, it'll be the right one. We're enjoying watching you play, and keep scoring tries, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Long live your success, mate. Well, Silky, what a great ambassador for rugby league and what a great ambassador for his family and himself. I mean, 3 young kids. When you see the career and the class of the Morris boys on and off the field, they always seem happy. I remember that game when they were playing. I think they were playing.
They do look like they're enjoying their football, don't they? They always seem to be smiling.
I think it was St George versus Canterbury. They played against each other and a fight broke out. And I remember they had
mucking around.
The muck around. You know what I mean? Just playful. I mean, but at the same time, lethal athletes. So I think they're highly respected by the opposition.
And I love the bit where there's a bit of sibling rivalry too. They play both sides of the field.
Well, you've
been
talking about
a little bit of a one-upathon there. Like I'll tell you who I'll be having a little slide bet on for a first try scorer this week.
Yeah, well, I was going to say to you might want to have a word to your man Luke Keary about giving some love out to the right side because it seems like the left's just got it all happening.
Yeah, that's right, Bush. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be going straight into this week's big matchup against the Melbourne Storm. You're on Roosters Radio, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Roosters Radio. And obviously, with all that's going on down there in Melbourne at the moment, there's been a bit of media talk about this Thursday night match being played up there in Queensland. I should also mention to all our Queensland fans, you can get to the footy. They've got a 25% capacity for Thursday night up there in Brisbane. So, Roosters fans, get out there and support your team. No Munster, Bush, no problem. How do you see it?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, Silky. I think Melbourne are going to come at us with a little something different. Munster's going to be a big loss for them. But a little bit like St George last week, I don't think we underestimated St George. I think they come at us how we thought. The problem with when you're in the form that the Roosters are in and you're the reigning premiers, everyone lifts for your game. So Melbourne are a classy side. They're highly respected and well coached, as we all know. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than what we've had. We've put 13 plus on our last 5 games. And this one is going to be a lot closer. And I think you'll see the class of Melbourne, just come through. But I still think a Roosters victory. I'm going to give you a scoreline.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Yeah, Roosters 22, Melbourne 12.
Yeah, I like it. Look, it'd be interesting to see how we bounce back after last week's performance. Obviously, we're going to have a few new faces in the lineup. But having said that, they're not going to be new as in we haven't seen them. We'll see Nat Butcher play a more prominent role. I also note that Puasa Farmasili has been brought back from the Warriors from loan, so wouldn't be surprised to see if he gets a run. Obviously, at the time of recording, the team hasn't been announced yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Robinson has a couple of little trick plays from the playbook to throw at bellyache as he's done in the past. So really looking forward to Thursday night's match. Score prediction from me, I think it's going to be a tight one. I'm going to say 18-14 Roosters.
Yeah, and Silky, you just mentioned something there for the fans to salivate over. Bellamy versus Robinson. What tricks have they got? I know he changes it up all the time. Coach Trent Robinson, he's probably got something up his sleeve we haven't seen yet. He trains for certain games. He trains for situations. He trains for conditions, sides of the field. It's going to be salivating.
And something for the punters, fresh off our chat with Brett Morris. Josh Morris to score 2 tries.
Well, wouldn't that be good? Some value there, Silky, for Roosters fans. And speaking of Roosters fans, nice to see long-term member Wayne Leong on the website. He returned to Live Rugby League last week, and let's hope we see those big flags up in Brisbane. He's part of the 25% capacity crowd cheering on our boys. He flies everywhere.
Well, that's it for this episode of Roosters Radio. We want to thank our special guest, the one and only Brett Morris, B-Moz. That's it for this episode of Roosters Radio. East to win.
The Roosters, the best we've ever seen. The red, white and Roosters, the East and Southern team. East to win, South African pride, let everybody know. If you play this football game, beware the Roosters grow. They're great to see in action, these boys to show the way. Put the Roosters on the field, they'll show you how to play. Here come the Roosters, the best we've ever seen. The red, white and Roosters, the Eastern